Rightly or wrongly, there is a very strong public perception that pit bulls can be a dangerous animal. And in Riverside County, 20% of the animals that are in our shelter are identified as pit bulls and pit bull mixes. 30% of the animals that are put down, nice way of saying they kill them, are pit bulls and pit bull mixes. Part of it is public perception, and it's driven by a lot of things, and some of it is inaccurate, but it is a real perception. So I would really like to not make so many pit bulls.
Thousands and thousands of dogs, countrywide, millions of actual pit bulls have never done anything. And they all blanketly take the blame. It's all implied that they're all inherently vicious, engineered differently, aggressive. I attended the county meeting. Tons of times they reference these dogs as vicious, aggressive, inherently dangerous, engineered differently. The implication is that they're different. And then they want to come back and, well, it's not about that. The track record doesn't exist for enforcement. Like I already stated once, there's already a dangerous dog law in both county and city. And city actually has a mandatory spay and neuter law for all pets. It's a secondary law. They have the ability to change that if they want to. But the law's already there for all dogs, and they're doing this on top of that. Pit bulls are dogs too, so they fall into that first law, which is not being enforced, just like the dangerous dog law isn't being enforced, just like the leash law isn't being enforced when a roaming dog attacks, maims, kills somebody, regardless of the breed. They not only have one, but they have 3 buildings at their county facility, 3 buildings that are off limits to the public. Public cannot go. They store, the majority of dogs that they store in those buildings are pit bulls. They're not stored for a day or two and then moved to the adoption floor. They're stored there indefinitely and then moved to the kill room and killed. And then he wants to claim that adoption numbers are low. Well, no one can see the dogs. And why do you think adoption numbers are low just in a general sense? Because this kind of stuff is going on. These stereotypes are perpetuated by this type of stuff. And it's not fair, because like I said, there's millions of these dogs who are innocent, mine included.
Well, why not just pit bulls? Why don't we have an ordinance on the books for every dog?
There is.
Or every, Well, I mean, I'll let you jump in on that. I mean, yeah, this whole idea that we ought to just not do this for pit bulls, we ought to do this for every dog.
There already is a mandatory spay and neuter with city for every dog. So I would like the answer to that question as well.
As Josh pointed out, that is a secondary enforcement. It's picked up as a stray, or it bites somebody, or damages somebody else's pet, and they call and take possession of the animal. Then, to get the animal back, you need to get it spayed or neutered.
That's a good thing, though.
And I agree. One is, it's just such a large population that it's very difficult to accomplish it. And the other, in all honesty, is a matter of political will. There is, just as there is a level of public objection to requiring that pit bulls be spayed and neutered, there's an even greater outcry if you do all dogs in general. And I don't think most governmental bodies have the political wherewithal to withstand that pressure. Because of the way pits are characterized and many people perceive them, the political possibility of accomplishing it at that level does exist. I don't think you could do that for Cocker Spaniels.
So you're going to take advantage of it because you're admitting that most people are uneducated about pit bulls, so you're going to then just throw them under the bus? I mean, I also pointed out that the law is a secondary enforcement, but it doesn't have to be. They can change that. They have the power to change that if they wanted to. They can go in, restructure the law. How it stands right now, it says, well, if there's a roaming dog, it comes in, it can't go back out until it's spayed and neutered. And that is a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. All shelter animals are not supposed to leave the shelter unless they're spayed and neutered. That is how it should work. Mr. Gardner sits on the council. He has the ability to suggest changes to the laws. The council has the ability to change these laws. So I feel like that question was flat out dodged because, yes, it is a secondary enforcement, but they can change it. They have the power to change it whenever they want to.
Okay. Mr. Gardner?
Josh is right. The council could change it. I don't believe that there are votes to do that. And fair or not, the public perception does help drive the political will that allowed this for pit bulls. It's too big a step. Government hasn't got the guts to do it.
Well, regardless, I mean, if you can acknowledge something as unfair or possibly unfair, I don't know your personal, specifics of your personal stance on this, but if you can acknowledge something as being possibly unfair, we're talking about willpower here. Why don't, regardless of whether there's the votes or not, why don't you stand up and say it's unfair, unjust? That's what I'm doing. This is an unjust law. There's a heck of a lot of breeds out there, and a lot of breeds have killed people, and that's not to say that any breed should be judged or discriminated against because of that. That's one dog. It's an individual dog, and that's where we need to focus on. Individual dogs' behavior, individual person's behavior. More importantly than that, because that's where the dog is getting the bad behavior from.
Riverside's ordinance doesn't attempt to ban any breed of dog. It doesn't prevent people from having them. It doesn't prevent people from breeding them.